Yeah. What are your fun memories about Easter?
Okay,
If you
that's
have
easier.
any.
Going to grandma's house, getting the basket or finding the basket, and going swimming. Because Easter's the first day that you go swimming.
Oh, yeah?
Yep.
Really?
Spring.
Yeah. Yep.
So Easter was the first day of swimming?
Yeah.
Well, for me down in Alabama, we swam in the creek. Every day was swimming day.
Even in the winter.
Well, we didn't swim in the winter, but during the summers,
Sounds awesome.
we just doing jump in the river.
Nice.
I mean, in the lake, whatever. In the creek. We swam in the creek.
A swimming hole.
Right. So, repeat it again.
Going to getting the Easter baskets, finding them, because sometimes you have to find your Easter basket.
Thank you, Nick.
It would be hidden through my grandma's house,
Oh,
my
yeah.
grandma and grandpa's house.
Right.
And then seeing cousins and, well, I would see my brothers and sisters all the time, but seeing my cousins and playing and going swimming.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And what are your fun memories about growing up as a kid about Easter?
Well, it was.
Joel, because Joel black, he may remember like I remember. Cause white, y'all doing all that swimming, y'all first day of swimming. Who think about first day of swimming? Every day is swimming day. But go ahead. Joel, come.
In a pool, too, not a creek.
I know, in a pool, not a creek.
Yeah, I would wake up and there would be a basket of candy, a lot of chocolate, like chocolate bunnies and eggs and stuff.
Right.
And it was also just beautiful because it was like, one of the first days of spring and it was, flowers and vegetation and stuff. And, it was just nice to be out of winter, I guess. And then we would hard boil.
It would be nice to be out of winter.
Yeah.
And you thought of that as a kid, that we're out of winter?
Well, I would just think of the fact that it was a nice, peaceful Sunday,
Right.
and you look outside and the flowers are starting to bloom. Everything's moist and wet because it's spring and
Wow.
it's raining. That's what I would think of. I was like, and then the basket of candy, and then we would hard boil a bunch of eggs, and we would paint them.
Nice.
Dye them or paint them?
Dye them. We would dye them, and then we would decorate the dyed eggs. So we would dye them in all different colors. Like
Right.
we'd have a bowl, and we'd let them soak in the bowl. And I remember it smelled like vinegar because I guess vinegar was part of the recipe to dye them.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And then we would paint the dyed eggs, and I just knew deep down that my eggs were the coolest ones out of the bunch. Like they were the best designed eggs.
And so would you be thinking about the first day of swimming too?
No, we didn't have a pool, so I didn't go swimming like that. We had a creek. We did have a creek.
You would pool like us.
We was Poe.
Well, kind of like Sean was saying, we would paint the eggs as what they would be dyed, like he was saying, but when they were already dyed when I woke up, so my brother and I and my sister, we would go and decorate the dyed eggs, and then we would never eat them.
Right.
We would just decorate them and then leave them as that and throw them away.
Are you serious?
Yeah, they never got eaten.
Why not?
Because we would go and do the Easter egg hunt and have like the candy and the money like in the plastic eggs, and they would be hidden out in the yard, and we would go find those, and that was our excitement. We didn't care nothing about no dyed eggs.
Hard-boiled eggs, who likes that?
When you were a kid, they were putting money in plastic eggs?
They would put mostly candy, and then they'll put like one egg would have like a jackpot.
When you were
like
a kid,
$5.
they were doing that?
Oh yeah,
Really?
yeah.
Amazing.
We can wait for Easter, get some money. No, it was mainly it was mainly about the candy, because it was only like $5. It wasn't anything crazy, but it was mainly about finding the candy. Who can get the most candy?
What are your fond memories about Easter as a kid? Up until adulthood.
Yeah, pretty similar to Joel. We would I would wake up, we'd have the Easter basket and a lot of Peeps and chocolate. I used to like the chocolate Jesus.
Would you eat him?
Yeah, the chocolate Jesus.
And why?
Why would I eat it?
Why did you like the chocolate Jesus?
Oh, I don't know. I just would think it was funny, and then I thought there was a cool song, "Chocolate Jesus."
As a kid?
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
yeah. But anyway, yeah. So, and I used to like going to church and getting like bright colors, wearing bright colors.
Oh, no wonder you had on that mess yesterday.
It's just like a special Sunday on top of the Sunday already being nice.
Amazing.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do. Absolutely.
Yeah.
When I reflect on Easter as a kid growing up, it was one of the most enjoyable times of my life. It really was. Because my grandmother would tell us, we had a hen house. Y'all know what a hen house is.
I heard of it.
Y'all know what a hen house is?
That's at the Fox Guards.
What?
That's at the Fox Guards.
Hen house is where you build and then you put the chickens in there and raise chickens. And the chickens, we made a nest in the hen house so the chicken can go in there and lay some eggs. And so my grandmother would tell me or one of my other cousins, go out there and get a basket of eggs. We're going to dye some eggs tonight for Easter tomorrow. And it was one of the night before Easter. It was amazing. And then that Sunday morning, we would go to church, and all the adults from different homes would bring baskets of eggs, right? And while we were in there having church, the adults would sneak outside and hide the eggs. And sometimes I'd be looking through the window to try to see where they are. But they wouldn't allow you to do that. And then, so after church, we were all scattered. The kids, all of us, were scattered across the church yard because our church was in woods, out in the environment.
Nice.
And they would have grass and trees and everything. And so we would have to go and find the eggs. And I remember I tried to find as many as possible because afterward you can eat all your eggs if you want or you can share. And those eggs used to be so good.
Hard boiled?
Hard-boiled egg. Yeah, hard-boiled egg. And then to the point that I would, not just me, but other kids would take some to school that Monday morning and have for lunch or share with friends, and they were still good. And yes, we used to have the candy too, but the eggs were more important than the candy.
Nice.
Though the candy was good. But the eggs were delicious, but it was so much fun
Did
doing that.
Did Punchy share his eggs
Sometimes.
sometimes?
Yeah. Reluctantly, I would share some, but I'd be mad about sharing. Like, here, let me have some of my eggs.
Hurry up before I change my mind.
Right. But it was so much fun. And now what I see, for the most part, is eggs, not really eggs, they're plastic.
Yeah.
And when you open them up, they have candy in it.
Nice.
Where are the real eggs?
Yeah.
The
It's
real
like-
eggs are for dying and
it's
then
like-
looking at.
What?
The real eggs are for dyeing them and looking at them.
But not eating them?
Not me. Other people can eat them.
You don't like eggs?
I only like scrambled eggs, not runny. Well done.
No, I'm talking about boiled eggs.
No.
Oh, you ever had deviled eggs?
Yes.
Oof.
Oh, man.
So good.
Yes.
Anyway.
Eggs are too expensive under the Joe Biden administration.
Yeah.
Right.
You said that again. But I think that the market, the sales people out there have made the people think that they want plastic egg with candy and stuff and all that
Yeah.
rather than the real deal.
Well,
it's like
with-
they did with the animal. They make you think you love animal more than people for the money.
God forbid the kids are bored with regular eggs.
Right.
We need to give them the thrill of having candy. And
Yeah.
With candy, we need Obamacare because with candy we have childhood obesity,
Right.
diabetes, heart problems, all that stuff.
I mean, well, I don't think it was that deep. I think it was. I just think it was like, as long as the celebration stayed alive, and that's what it has. Like, from then.
But
to,
we would be in
even
the
then. But even then, in your time, you guys would go and hunt the eggs. That was the fun of it, was finding the eggs.
Right,
It
but-
wasn't so much coming down to the hard boil versus the candy. It was more the fun.
The hard-boiled egg was delicious.
Right,
Also,
but-
better than the candy, to be honest, at that time. And they were not putting money in the can that sues us with money.
But it wasn't. But that's not what's
They
happening
take
now.
the fun away.
No, it's still fun.
Oh,
Yeah.
I bet it is finding money as a kid.
Yeah.
Y'all
I
have
liked,
money.
I liked Chinese New Year for the money. We would
What?
get these red envelopes from our friends' mothers, and it would have money in these red envelopes. But that's only Chinese New Year.
I know nothing about that.
Well, you didn't grow up in SGV.
They have taken the
Post
fun out of
65.
life and made everything about money.
Terrible.
Who
Yeah.
want to go out and find plastic egg with candy in it?
That's fun though. That's fun for the kids.
If it's good candy, it's cool.
Yeah, it's the same thing.
That's because the kids don't know it better. I want to show you. We talked about what Easter was like back then and what it's like now. This is from Fox. Back in 2019, the Easter Bunny found himself in some trouble. A fight started, and the bunny jumped in until an Orlando police officer broke it up. This is what Easter looked like today. Watch this from Instagram.
Buddy, chill. I got it on, bro. Yo, got it on, bro. Hey, Easter Bunny, yo. I got it on, bro. It's Easter, my. Easter, my. Easter Bunny, get on there and see it. He was shaking. He was shaking. The Easter Bunny was shaking.
That's what Easter looked like now. And you say, Hassan?
Yeah, unbelievable. definitely far away from chocolate Jesus.
What a mess. And Joel, you say?
That's the ghetto bunny. We didn't have that one.
Sean, you say?
It's just representative. It's so representative of the times in one video.
You were making a good point during the break that now at Easter time you expect stupid stuff to happen instead
Yeah,
of
I mean, I'm starting to think that the entire industrial revolution, like everything, cars, electricity, I think it was all a net negative for humanity.
Yeah.
You know, I don't think it's obvious that it was all positive. People will say, "Oh, well, look at medicine. You know, oh, look at the advances in medicine. People are living longer," or they'll say, you know, look at genealogy, and now we can find serial killers from 40 years ago because of the DNA that we have and the technology. It's like I don't maybe, but I think it's a net negative for everybody.
and though people are living longer, they are on all kinds of medication, so their insides are all destroyed.
Yeah, and a lot of time the medication make it worse. It worse, you know?
And they're allowed to do more evil in the world.
Yeah, absolutely.
They said, I heard a quote one time about a town, and it was the first time the town got phones, like the phone lines came into town, and some guy said, "Oh, great, now we can get bad news faster."
That's for sure. What a mess. And you say?
Was the Easter Bunny black on the inside?
I was wondering the same thing. Did he move like a white guy or a black guy?
I couldn't tell.
Did he move like a black guy or a white guy?
He looked black influenced.
Well, with the other person that was fighting with the white person, was that a black person?
I was focused on the animal,
On the bunny.
the bunny.
Like these mascots that go wild.
Can you imagine out there looking for some eggs? You remember a bunny like that?
Maybe he's being like Jesus, though. Coming
Fighting?
with a sword.
Oh, he had his fist.
Yeah.
Amazing. So things have really changed and not for the best. I don't know one thing that has changed for the best. How was Easter for you in Canada as a kid, and how do you see it now as an adult?
It was fun. Really not much happened as a kid. I think I never colored any egg or went hunting for any eggs.
Oh,
Well, they gave us stuff in class. Like they
Yo.
gave us eggs that I could bust open with some candy in it.
y'all relying on the government?
I don't know. I just sat there and things came, and so I was like, "This is nice." But
Oh,
I
they-
always felt like a secondary feeling of shame because I never brought stuff. All the other kids brought stuff.
Oh, they
and
did?
their parents sent them with stuff.
Oh, so the kids would bring stuff to school for Easter, plus the school would give y'all stuff too?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
It was kind of like Valentine's Day too. They'd go around. The kids would go around giving each other candies. I guess they were Valentines, but everyone got one.
And why didn't you bring something?
I don't know. My mom never sent me to school with stuff. We were that family. We didn't bring the cupcakes. We didn't have the candies.
Were y'all poor?
Not poor. Not so that I couldn't bring some candies.
Did you guys have the
Like we're in
real-
America. Well, we're in Canada. There's no
Did you
pla-
guys have the real eggs that? And Nick is also one of the experts here too. Did y'all have eggs where you have to color them and then hide them and find them?
Never done that. Never seen that. I learned today that you eat those. Apparently,
And they're so
you find them
good.
and you eat them.
Right.
I always wondered, why would I want to go around looking for an egg? It's not even cooked. I can't even eat it. That's what I
No,
always thought.
you boil them.
I didn't know that.
They're not raw.
I didn't know that.
What the?
Anyways, you got to get to calls real quick.
But what is it like for you now as an adult with
Right.
Easter?
I wanted to get to that. I think I've really only just recently seen it different. And to keep it brief, it's a reminder to me this year. It's nothing nice, but it's a reminder really of the pain I got to go through. There's this whirlwind that my life is like inside sometimes. And like during church, you asked us to drop morals. I tried this past week, and I couldn't, right? And I know, and what I meant by that is that I was trying to not see it as anything in my life, any situation as good or bad. I was like, okay, let me just not see it as good or bad.
Right.
And it was difficult to do that. Even though in the moment I dropped the good or bad, feelings would go away, the tension that I didn't know was there would go away. The next whirlwind would come. And that's the thoughts that everyone's going through.
Right.
Do you understand what I'm saying
I
here?
do, absolutely.
And so that's the reminder. It's a reminder of this. I see this cave I'm in, and I see the exit, and I keep telling myself, I'll walk to I'll exit in a moment here. I'll get to that. But that's such a lie. You got to take a step every day, and you got to take one
Every
step
day
every
you
day.
gotta work on
You're telling yourself, I'll take the big step tomorrow. But you got to do these little steps every day. And
Yeah.
Josh and Calandra, and I relate so much to what they're saying because I'm going through the same thing. And we're telling ourselves lies. We're telling ourselves we're intellectual. We're this and that. We're telling ourselves these things, and we don't know that.
And that's not even you telling yourself that.
Correct.
It's totally from evil. People don't understand the desperation that evil has to live in you, and it doesn't want to depart from you because it got to find some other human being to live in. Evil lives in the heart of human beings. And so it tell you what up. If I said most people are intellectual, right away it's going to tell you that you're intellectual.
And I understand them too because I think I don't want to put words in their mouth, but I think what they're getting at is that they, like you were just talking with Rhea, I think we all want to be taken over by that good spirit and see that our whole lives represent that.
Right.
And so we judge ourselves saying we don't represent that. So then that must mean I'm intellectual. It must mean these things. And we let go of the gift we were given, that thoughts are lies. We saw that. We saw that.
Yeah.
And instead of going with that, we're stuck in the thoughts. Anyways, thanks.
And then the key to that, want for nothing. Because Satan makes you think you want the truth so badly, you want it, and then it makes you feel like you're never going to get it. Don't even want for that. Remember this year's theme, want for nothing? But
I'm going to try to remember that.
Thank you, the expert and the host of the American Anchor Baby.
Amazing.
Every day, Monday through Friday. I want to give you a quick example of human beings being animals. This is from Fox. Some of you may have heard yesterday, April 1, 2024, there was a 20% increase in minimum wage. This is from Fox. California's new law boosting the minimum wage for fast food workers in the state to $20 an hour. Went into effect Monday. It went to $20 an hour fast food workers yesterday on Monday, impacting restaurants that have at least 60 locations nationwide Watch this from Fox.
Know that this has already started. Number one, he signed it into law in September. By October, Pizza Hut had announced 1,200 plus layoffs. Round Table Pizza, another franchisor in California, had laid off. Starbucks employees, who, by the way, total compensation package around $30 an hour, they had already closed 7 stores. They're going to have more layoffs. Uber drivers, DoorDash, and all of them will pay a price. Restaurants are already squeezed, and he's basically killed it. But the people that get laid off then collect, because the businesses had to pay unemployment compensation to the state, which means the taxpayers get to make up the difference. His buddy Greg Flynn, high school buddy, Gavin Newsom's friend, who got a exemption because he's a bread maker for Panera. Well, at least he got rid of that because it was too publicly embarrassing. But what this is idiotic, forced value on the cost of labor, which is anti-free market, anti-capitalist. And the real results are thousands of people have already lost jobs, and more will lose jobs, and customers will have to pay the difference.
Amazing. That's evil. That is an example of human beings treating each other like animals. They don't care that, first of all, small businesses like that cannot afford to hire people. They must lay off because they can't afford $20 an hour. And then they don't care that the people who are getting laid off will pay the price for it. The government don't care. The government has no business determining what you should pay your private business should pay employees anyway. But they don't care. They don't care that you're getting laid off. They don't care that the businesses will shut down. They don't care about anything but themselves. The ones who are making these decisions that tell small business what they can do, they're taking care of themselves. They make buku money. They live high on the hog, and they're doing just fine. They don't care what you're feeling. That's evil. That's animal nature. That is human nature. Human nature is animal nature without love. They don't care. As long as they get a thrill of thinking that they have some type of control over you. And then they're bringing in these machines to take the place of human workers. Isn't that amazing? While they're going to be, these people making the decision, they're going to have jobs. Now they're going to replace your job with a machine. They don't care. And the unions, the unions that has convinced employers or employees that you need a union, and the union is looking out after you. You need to be making more money. And the employees agree because it sounding good, making more money, but the union's not going to tell you you're going to lose your job. And also, if you don't lose your job, your union dues will go up, which means more money to the unions to support, to not only raise their salaries and have great parties and union driving cars without having to pay for them, all kind of stuff, right? You're paying for that. And then they're voting in supporting politicians that you don't even agree with. But you think you got something because they said you need to make more money. But you're not making more money. You may make $20 an hour now, but by the time you pay union dues and all that other stuff, you're back in the same spot. And it's because you don't think for yourself. You do not think for yourself. You let everybody else think for you. And you don't even know how, you don't know how not to think for yourself in the right way so you can know what's right. Prices will increase even more. So $20 an hour, it's a setup to get power and control over you. Fox Business is reporting that executives at McDonald's and Chipotle Mexican Grill have already indicated menu price hikes are coming. But you think you're making $20 more, you're making money. You're not. Unions are doing it for control over you so they can take your money and go and support politicians that you don't agree with. And most of the time, it's Democrat politicians. I used to work for a union. I know this for a fact. It's not hearsay. Employees who will be laid off. Fox Business is reporting Southern California Pizza announced layoff of around 841 drivers across the state. Roundtable Pizza said it planned to lay off around 73 delivery drivers. But these are animals. Husband and wife treat each other like animals. Parents treat their children like animals. Mothers go to work and they are married, don't have to go to work. They treat their children like animals. Oh, send me to a daycare center. I don't care. I got to go get my ego thrilled. I don't feel like raising children. According to KMPH, employees at Foster Freeze are out of a job. Assistant General Manager Monica Navarro says she was called Monday morning only to find the locks were being changed. Watch this from KMPH.
We went into work this morning. My coworkers went in and they came up, they drove up, and there was a locksmith there. He was changing all the locks, and the owner was there, and he basically said that the store is shutting down and gave all of us our last checks. Didn't give us any type of notice. I talked to Lauren, and he was basically saying how he knew that he wasn't going to be able to afford the $20 pay increase. And I guess just didn't want to tell us that he wasn't going to be able to afford the $20 increase. Please be nice to your fast food workers. They're going to be getting their hours severely cut, running small shifts. They're going to have people yelling at them for the menu increases. Please be nice to your fast food workers. They're trying their best.
Amazing, huh? Human beings in that fallen state do not have love. Human beings are evil. And anyone tell you that human beings have love, they're lying to you. There's no love. Love comes from above. And how many people get a love from above? You can count them on one hand. This is from KTLA. El Polo Loco told investors it will begin automating some of its salsa making. We don't need you human beings to make salsa anymore. We got to use machines now. You're laid off. It will begin salsa making, and Jack in the Box is testing fryer robots and automated drinking dispensers to rely on fewer employees. When I was realizing this last night, I was thinking how there was a time when I was growing up, a lot of people were farmers, and it was a pleasure to live on the farm and grow your own food and go to the cotton mill and sell your cotton and make money and go and buy your own groceries, or just pick up your groceries out the fields. They convinced most people to get rid of your farms and move to the big cities. And it's been set up and planned that way for years now in order to control you. New York Post, this is from the New York Post. On Reddit, the anti-work subreddit is one of the most active pages. People post texts and emails, screenshots for quitting their jobs. Isn't that something? The real heroes are so-called idlers who stay in the job doing the absolute minimum to get by while still collecting a paycheck. They stay, but they're trouble because they're doing the absolute minimum work. All they want is a paycheck. Human beings are evil. Human beings are animals. The rule is that you got to love one another. Love your neighbor. Ask yourself, where's the love in that? Somebody hire you to do a job, you make a promise, you're going to do your best. Give me this amount, I'll do my best. Watch this from Fox.
Why do you like the idea of being home, not working, but still getting paid by corporate America? How many hours is a solid work day in your ideal society?
Sure. I mean, I think as much as people want, we want to reduce the amount of work that people feel like they're forced to do. People still want to do things. They just want to do things where they feel rewarded and they feel like they're in a good spot in their life and that their job respects them and stuff like that. So I would like less work hours.
And what do you do, Doreen?
I'm a dog walker.
A dog walker.
May God have mercy on the young generation. They have no sense of individuality. The men and the women, the boys and the girls. What a mess! It's a battle between good and evil. I've told you, I've been saying this for years and not taking credit for it. I've just been telling you that it's not about white or black. It's not about racism. It's not about sexism. It's not about homophobism or lesbianism. It's not about white supremacism. It's not about anti-Semitism. It's good versus evil. This is from, talking about taking the joke too far, this is from NDTV. This is amazing. In China, an employee at a government-affiliated institution has been accused of poisoning her pregnant colleague. Has been accused of poisoning her pregnant colleague. The employee took the bizarre step because she did not want her colleague to take a maternity leave as she could not manage the increased workload alone. Isn't that amazing? According to NDTV, this woman is going to take off from work, pregnancy leave, maternity leave, and this woman like, I can't do all this work by myself. What the? You want to go have a baby? And I had to do all this work. And according to the report, she poisoned her. Don't tell me that the human beings are not evil. Human beings are not kind at heart either. I'm telling you, that's a lie. You must be born again. You must be born again. And I've said to you over and over again that my country is no longer in tears of thee. I know people who've gotten upset at me because I said my country is over. I ain't talking to you no more. You saying the country is gone. It is gone. And it's going to get worse. You think it's bad now? And it is. They have been pushing anger and calling it love, even the Christians. Oh, Jesus was angry. Not that kind of anger, not human anger. Human anger is of the devil. And as a result, been pushing it, it's everywhere now. And Satan is taking over the big demons up there. Big devils over the little devils are taking over. This is from Politics Brief. Talking about my country is no longer dear to thee, of thee. I never thought this had happened. Amazing. This is from Politics Brief. 3 individuals identifying themselves as the FBI showed up at the home of an Oakland woman regarding Facebook posts that were allegedly critical of Joe Biden. It is not clear what Facebook post triggered the visit. Watch this from X.
So you said you were with the FBI?
What we'd like to do is just have a conversation with you about some social media posts that you've made.
I would like you to later talk on with my lawyer. I'll get back to you. And tell him that Facebook flagged me for posts.
Facebook gave us a couple of screenshots of your account.
So we no longer live in a free country and we can't say what we want? We live in America.
Right.
Exactly. So it's kind of weird that you want to come talk to me about me exercising my freedom of speech. Okay, so you have concerns about my personal opinions?
If you don't want to talk to us, then you can...
I'm definitely not going to have a talk with you. This is Rola Abdel Jawad in Stillwater, Oklahoma. This is America.
Amazing, huh? That wasn't, if it's true, and I have no reason to doubt it at this point, that wasn't Russia. That wasn't in China. That was in the United States of America. And election times are coming in November. You haven't seen anything yet. These people are trying to stop the Great White Hope from getting in. I don't know why they went to her house, but you haven't seen anything yet. I would suggest do what you want. You overcome fear. Anyone that has fear has anger. Anyone that has anger has fear, and fear is not of God. Anyone that has fear, because the devil is of fear, anyone that has fear is the devil. You're the devil. That was in America. United States of America. In case you didn't hear it, according to Reason, one agent said in the video, Facebook gave us a couple of screenshots of your account. A second agent added, we do this every day, all day long. All day long, all night. All day long we do this. It's just an effort to keep everybody safe and make sure nobody has any ill will. Nobody has any ill will. Are they doing that for Trump too? Anyone that says something bad about Trump, are you knocking on their doors? Just wondering out loud. My country is quickly, the world is a mess. The world is hell on earth. And it's not the planet world itself, it's the people. The hell in the people expressing itself on the planet. And not only is it destroying human beings, but it's also destroying the planet. Your hell is destroying the planet as well. Trash in the ocean. If I decide to take an ocean, jump in the ocean, ain't nobody business if I do. Trash, pot, it's just a mess. But it's inside the person / people. But my country is quickly becoming a socialist society, and I guess it's been in the making for a long time. Not I guess, apparently, ever since the 1800s and even before that. Ever since human beings been on Earth. Nothing is new under the sun. And my country is quickly becoming a socialist, communist, Marxist society. Human beings are so screwed up. And not, all until a few start to overcome. That they just accept communism over capitalism. How can you accept Marxism, socialism, communism over capitalism? Who would not want to be free to make as much money or less? Build the biggest house or smallest house or no house at all? To be free, who wouldn't want that? Who would want to give it up for somebody else to control you? Well, apparently, Marxism is a big deal, and a lot of people don't know it's happening because they don't think about it, they don't know about it. Marxism, the definition of Marxism from Oxford, the political and economic theories of Karl Marx later developed to form the basis of communism, for communism. And some of you heard about Karl Marx, right? Well, this is from Botanica. Because of Marx's anti-capital core belief, his family was impoverished for much of their lives. Watch this from Catholic culture.
Not unlike Marx, whose family live-in made Marx got her pregnant behind his wife's back. He denied the existence of the child, refused to pay the child any money, even a penny of child support. The only way that they got a roof over their heads was from Marx's family's inheritance and the father. And then when the father died, and Marx didn't go to the father's funeral, some Marx biographers say that he couldn't or whatever, couldn't make it. And others say, no, he did it out of spite. Very difficult relationship with his father. After the father died, he went to the mother to try to bilk the mother for money. And at one point, the mother had to cut him off too, even though she knew that the money was keeping the Marx family alive. Marx's mother, like his wife's, both expressed the wish that Carl would start earning some capital rather than just writing about capital. In Marx's case, the private stuff is very relevant to his worldview. What he advocated are extensions of all of this private behavior. Right. Marx's ideal system, Thomas, would have been one where Marx could have lived the life that he lived, refusing to work, refusing to literally get his butt up off the couch in the kind of Marxist, collectivist, nanny state that he envisioned, where the rest of the world would subsidize him.
Every human being problem starts at home. Any human being, and it all do, that have problems, check home first growing up, see what that was like. Amazing. Here's more about Marxism from PragerU. Capitalism is the source of all evil. Capitalism is the source of all evil. If we can just get rid of the capitalist system, we can eliminate poverty, inequality, class conflict, and war. This is what Karl Marx believed, and many today still follow his lead. That doesn't make sense. If there were no capitalism, how will you take care of people? If you had no money, if you didn't have money, if there was no capitalism, and everybody relied on the government, how would you? I don't understand that. I'm black and slow, so maybe there's something I'm missing. Because I noticed that the so-called homeless people, those who decided have made the decision that they want to be on drugs and live on the streets and beg and not do for themselves, they're begging the people who have the money. You don't see poor people on the street asking one another for money. So I really don't understand. And again, I'm black and slow, and I'm learning about Marxism, socialism, communism over the years. I'm learning as I've been doing these shows and hearing from different people about it. What will you do if you didn't have capitalism? What would it be? If everybody just sat back and did nothing. Just think about that. Maybe I'm missing something. The thing that made my country great at one time was capitalism. Because if you don't work, even Jesus believed in capitalism. What's up? Jesus said, if you don't work, you don't eat. If they don't work, let them starve. Let them starve. Even Jesus said that. Jesus has to let them know you had to go to work. Even when Adam listened to the woman, Jesus said, oh, okay. At first, you didn't have to work. I had a beautiful garden out there for you. All you had to go out there and pick some fruits and vegetables and you don't have to do anything. But now you've decided you want to be God. You got to work now. And you're going to have to sweat. I can't believe that anyone think that capitalism is a bad thing. I believe that anyone that think that capitalism is a bad thing is a lazy person. They're just lazy and don't want to go to work. They want it free. That's why they want to get rid. They don't want to see everybody else going to work, and they laying back being lazy, and they don't want you to know they're lazy. Because look at the people today in America. All they're ever trying to do is take the white man's stuff. They have not earned their way. They have not made a way for themselves. They have not built anything. And their whole life is made of trying to take the white man's stuff. And so if the white man had not worked to make stuff and have stuff, who will you be taking it away from? I also believe that Marxism and socialism and all of ism like that, they hate God. They hate God. They hate themselves and they hate God. This is from Way of Life. Marx wrote about his will to create a new system. This Karl Marx guy. He wrote about his will to create a new system. His writings suggest his goals was never to help humanity, but instead to enact a sort of vengeance against heaven. Watch this from Thomas Sowell.
His father's letters show growing recriminations directed not only at his son's prodigious capacity to waste money, a talent he never lost throughout his life, but also at a more disturbing personal characteristic, egomania. One of Marx's many poems of this period says, "Then I will wander godlike and victorious through the ruins of the world, and, giving my words an active force, I will feel equal to the Creator." With self-assured step he hammers the ground with his heels, and raises his arms in all fury to heaven, as though he wished to seize the celestial vault and lower it to earth. The themes of destruction, corruption, and savagery run through Marx's poems of this era. There was nothing political about these writings. He was simply, as one biographer said, a man with the peculiar faculty for relishing disaster. In short, Marx's angry apocalyptic visions existed before he discovered capitalism as the focus of such visions.
Amazing. So it sounds like he hated God and he wanted to be God. It sounds that way to me. And I just told you in the opening, every human being want to be God. If you truly examine your life personally, you just examine your life, pay attention to you, you want to be God. And it's so hard to admit it, but you do. Anytime you think you know what you want, anytime you judge yourself and others, anytime you become emotional, anytime you have doubt, anytime you worry, anytime you have so-called post-traumatic stress disorder, Anytime you're jealous and envy and strife and want to hurt yourself and others. Anytime you have all loneliness. Anytime you compare yourself to others, you want to be God. That is so interesting. So it sounds like Karl Marx's issue was with God. And it starts in the home. This is from truthiorfiction.com. Chinese philosopher Sun Tzu said, an evil man would burn his own nation to the ground to rule over the ashes. An evil man would burn his own nation to the ground to rule over the ashes. That is so true. That's so deep. And pure evil. You're dealing with spiritual issues, folks. It's not physical. I want to give you a quick example of Marxism in action. In case you wonder, what it look like? What does it look like? Here's an example of Marxism in action. Diversity, equity, and inclusion. This is from The Hill. Secretary of State Anthony Blinken has appointed a new chief diversity and inclusion officer at the State Department. Zakiya Carr Johnson, co-founder of the Black Women Disrupt Initiative. The Black Women Disrupt Initiative. You know you're into the Karl Marx world now. And has an extensive background. So this woman is co-founder of Black Women Disrupt Initiative and has an extensive background in gender and racial equity. Watch this from X.
We live and work within systems, and those systems are so deeply rooted in patriarchy, in colonialism, in racism, in otherism. I want Black women's voices to be heard. The culture of misogyny has allowed men to act without consequence, and it becomes part of what we believe is normal. In order to make any change, we've literally got to be about the work of dismantling that traditional structure at every juncture. But how do you do that and appear to be a get-along person or a good team worker? And, for some reason, there's also this very negative stereotype of feminists as being angry people who just don't smile and don't know how to have a good time.
How is it that the government, the United States government, the educational system, they're able to find some of the worst, nasty, evil Black women you ever want to meet? Where are they finding them? They're not finding nice Black women. They're getting the devil. What? They know the dirty, nasty Black woman don't care. She destroy her own child. 888-7753-773. I'm being told they find them at the colleges and universities, maybe. Evidently, because every Black woman I see in position now is evil to the core. No love at all. What a mess! You know what's interesting to me, as I was talking about this Karl Marx guy in the opening just now, and I showed you that Black female, a perfect example of what Marxism is. Again, I'm wondering, and I know not for sure, but it looks like they're finding these evil Black women out of these universities and colleges and things. Because it's not like you run into them every day. But I noticed that every Black woman that's put into a decision-making in government or the universities or whatever, not every, but most, they're like wicked. A hardcore wicked. Ain't playing around wicked. And they're deliberately being used to destroy America. Isn't that amazing? And so I was wondering, I was thinking that, wow, it's amazing how evil can bring so much destruction upon the earth. And evils tend to go undealt with. And it is allowed to reign and destroy the earth. I'm like, wow, that's interesting. It's like nothing is stopping it. Even though good is evil to good is no competition at all. Zero. Good doesn't even bother to fight with evil because there's nothing to fight with. But yet, it is allowed to destroy human beings upon this earth. When it encourages you to destroy and you destroy yourself. Isn't that amazing? Where is the love? So Karl Marx was an interesting guy to me. He was wicked, according to everything I've learned. I remember Obama, I think Obama talked about, or during when he was in the so-called president, the Father Messiah, it would be, didn't he say he read Karl Marx, or did he say he read it?
Yeah, he.
Yeah. Finish it?
No, he admitted to reading Karl Marx in order to impress girls.
Oh, what the? So according to Fox, thank you, Sean. According to Fox, former President Barack Obama admitted in his new memoir, A Promised Land, is what we call Promised Land, to reading Karl Marx and other authors in an attempt to impress girls. Oh, what the? That's from Fox. It's crazy that the battle is between good and evil. And in our fallen state, we think it's between one another. We literally believe it's between each other, and it's not. That is mind-blowing to me. And it explains, though, why human beings treat each other like awful. There's no love. And human beings have no mercy for one another. Not only do they not have mercy for themselves as individuals, they have none for their children. Nobody. Zero. Husband and wife. The pain that husband and wife bring on each other is mind-blowing to me. It's mind-blowing. According to Wikipedia, Karl Marx married an older woman, 4 years older. What? Nah, he hated mama. What a mess. How come you don't pause? I know some people, men and women around the world, are starting to take a second look now. Like, what's really going on? What's wrong with me? And they're starting to, the moment they ask that question about themselves, it's the beginning of waking up. Isn't that amazing? You can wake up. That woman from the State Department, Zakiya, what's her name, Sean? Zakiya Carr Johnson is an evil female. It's all in her. Watch out for more destruction. Poor white people. She's going to walk all over you like she's walking all over heaven. According to the New York Post, a United Nations Youth Climate Advisor has a history of social media posts that call for the destruction of capitalism and attack white people for fueling humanity extinction. Watch this from X.
And I say this because the climate crisis is not passive. The climate crisis is not a result of natural disasters. It's actually man-made. It's a result of...
Say it again, because I think they missed it.
The climate crisis is man-made. And it's not just man-made, it's white man-made.
Wow.
It is a result of capitalism, years of colonialism, years of racial oppression. And so, if you want to get involved, the way that we save our planet is when we protect the most vulnerable communities among us. And this includes Black trans women. This includes indigenous peoples. And this is why it includes children and young folk. Because when we protect them, then we can protect everybody else.
What a liar.
All right.
Make sure that female stay in India and don't let her over here. We got enough problem. Make sure that female stay right there in India. They blame, see, white people, I told you, you have no reason to be afraid. Most other people, not all, but most people of color think you have all the power. They think you're God. Everything that's good, they blame you for it. And everything that's bad, they blame you for it. They want to destroy the good that you've done and bring in the bad. Y'all have no reason to be afraid, white people. In the eyes of most people of color, you are God. And they want to destroy you. They think you control the climate. Now you know you God. What are you afraid of? Here, on one hand, these people are calling you God on everything. People are poor because of the white. People are this because of the white. Lower the standard for the SAT score so I can get in. Only white people can pass it. Let me in because of my color. Only white people can capable of doing that. If you happen to be a person of color and you are succeeding, whatever that is, it's because the white man let you. They say. White people, you're God. What are you afraid of? They tell you every day that you are God. They call you white supremacist. That means white God. And they're jealous of you. That same female tweeted back in 2022, and here's what she said. This is from X. Watch this.
The white man sits at the highest level of power in the world.
I rest my case.
The same way he has killed, looted, and abused black and brown people for profit, so has he the earth.
I rest my case.
White supremacy would rather take everything and everyone, including white people, with it than give up its hold.
You got to give it up, white people, and you're afraid. That's from that female you just saw there. You are afraid, and they want you to let go of your power. And you're scared. They do know you're afraid, but yet they call you God. Look at the dichotomy in that. On one hand, they're calling you God, and they say, okay, God, if you don't give me what you have, I'm going to take it. And then they call you racist and all kind of names, and you're scared. Won't you let your God-like ability just work itself out? Fear not evil. Fear not evil. There's no fear in God. Anyone that has fear is of the devil. The devil is of fear. And anyone that has fear is the devil. What the? And the males are just as bad as the females. They too believe the white man is God. He controls everything. He controls the entire world. Now you know you're God. Even in Africa and China, where the presidents are black and Chinese, they think the white man controls that. And the males are just as bad as the females. This is from The Hill. Baltimore Mayor Brandon Scott has accused his critic of racism after many labeled him the DEI mayor, following the collapse of the Francis Scott Key Bridge earlier this week. Watch this from MSNBC.
Allow you, Mayor Scott, if you choose to do so, to respond to the tomfoolery and attacks on you for having the nerve to be black and also a mayor.
I know, and we all know, and you know very well, that black men and young black men in particular have been the boogeyman for those who are racist and think that only straight, wealthy white men should have a say in anything. We've been the boogeyman from them since the first day they brought us to this country. And what they mean by DEI, in my opinion, is duly elected incumbent. We know what they want to say, but they don't have the courage to say the N-word. And the fact that I don't believe in their untruthful and wrong ideology, and I am very proud of my heritage and who I am and where I come from, scares them, because me being at my position means that their way of thinking, their way of life of being comfortable and suffering, and while everyone else suffers, is going to be at risk, and they should be afraid, because that's my purpose in life.
He looked like a student on the football team in some university or something. Or maybe in high school. So he's the so-called mayor. I'm black and slow, so I have to break it down. The black people want DEI. They fight for it. And if the white man don't let the blacks into their company to teach DEI or into the school to teach it, the white man called racism. And so at first the white man like, no, we're not going to let you teach that. That divides the people even more so. No, you're a racist. Let us in. We want DEI. And then the white man, whom they call superior, calling him God, let them in to do the little DEI thing. And now that they're in there doing the DEI thing, and it ain't working out very well, they say the white man tried to call them the N-word because they're using the language that they brought up. They made up DEI. The white man didn't come up with that, unless Karl Marx did it. So if you don't like the word DEI, why did you make it up? So now if the white man called the mayor DEI mayor, he's a racist again? You made up the word. Not the mayor in particular that I'm aware of, but the blacks made that up. They the one wanted DEI. White people, you're damned if you do, and you're damned if you don't. And I don't give a darn if you do. Come home, Paul. I won't accept it. May God have mercy on my country. Now the white man can't say DEI mayor? That mean the N-word? Did you think that before you made that word up? When you made up the word DEI and forced it on the white people, were you thinking the N-word? Because they were not thinking that. At least not for the N-word and not for the DEI. And you are a DEI male. You wouldn't even be there if it wasn't for that. Why y'all made up the word? It's like when they made that word racism up, which does not exist. They say, well, you can't use that word. You can't say you're not a racist. Oh, I just realized you're controlled by words. You are controlled by words. When you are born again of God, you overcome words. I'm telling you, you will not be affected by words. You won't be. And last but not least, about this mess, NBC is reporting, speaking with MSNBC, Sharpton said, Trump should not continue to try and make the country more divided for his own political gain. Can you imagine Sharpton saying that? Watch this from MSNBC.
You just look at the fact that his Supreme Court, he appointed 3 of the 5 conservatives on the Supreme Court.
Thank God.
They have ended affirmative action.
Right on.
They have also did a real blow to the Voting Rights Act. So this is what Trumpism is to reverse everything that happened in the civil rights movement and go back to pre-1950 America. That's what he means by make America great again.
That's what it was beautiful.
He is basically a person committed to reversing civil and voting rights. And I think that when we look at the fact that all of these civil rights planks were put in place to correct racist behavior. By law, blacks couldn't have certain jobs. By law, we were slaves. By law, we were 3/5 of a man. All of that is what he's trying to bring us back to.
Amazing. Has Sharpton, and I'm just asking the question, career been about anything but that? Dividing the races for personal gain? I'm just asking you, Sharpton. Amazing. But I understand it's a spiritual battle. And see how powerful you are, white people? You can turn the country back to the 1950s. I wish you would. It was so amazing back then. I was there. I was a witness to the amazement. White people say, you have the power to do that. Please turn the country back to 1950. Let's start over. Let's start over again with good. And the beautiful thing about life, your life is renewed every day. You can have a renewed life just like that, every moment. It's up to you. Stay in your misery and die in your misery or overcome your misery. It's up to you as an individual adult. As an adult. An adult, I think, start around 18, maybe 17, 18, and on up, early 20s. And if you're out and about, you're a squatter, or if you're considering being a squatter are those people that going into these empty houses and taking over, and the government protect you, and the owner of the house has to pay the price to end all the trouble. And the squatter think they have a right to just live in your house. What a mess. It's amazing. The Christians believe in the intellect more than the secular people, or along with the secular people. They're not separated from the intellect at all. Just interesting things. And I understand. It's not like I don't understand. I used to think that way too, believe that way. Christians think that just because they believe about God, that they know God. They have ideas, they have thoughts about God, and they believe that that is believing God. They believe that thinking about God make them know God. Isn't it like, I understand, I'm about to say something, but I do understand. Crazy. I want to encourage you to pull away and work on yourself. When I say pull away, I don't intentionally mean pull yourself away physically from people. You got to deal with people, but you got to quietly work on you. Take this journey from within on your own by yourself. By yourself. And human beings have truckload, we all do, until we start to overcome them, of identities, false identities. It's amazing how human beings call the not you, not them, themselves. I want to give you an example of false identities. This is from the New York Post. A physically healthy, according to this report, a physically healthy 28-year-old, 28. When I was 28 years old, I was having so much fun. I was having a hootenanny of a time at 28. I had bought my first home at 25. Just having fun, working, whatever. According to the New York Post, a physically healthy 28-year-old Dutch woman has decided to legally end her life due to her struggles with crippling depression, autism, a borderline personality disorder. Watch this from the Free Press.
Zoraya Turabik is 28, and she expects to be euthanized in early May. She is one of a growing number of people across the West choosing to end their lives rather than live in pain. Pain that in many cases can be treated.
Hello, my name is Soraya and I'm 28 years old. I live in the Netherlands and recently my euthanasia request for my mental suffering got approved.
She says she was hobbled by her depression and autism and borderline personality disorder. Now she was tired of living, despite, she said, being in love with her boyfriend, a 40-year-old IT programmer, and living in a nice house with their 2 cats. She recalled to me her psychiatrist telling her that they had tried everything, that, quote, "there's nothing more we can do for you. It's never going to get any better." At that point, she said she decided to die. Quote, "I was always very clear that if it doesn't get better, I can't do this anymore."
Amazing. I wonder if she goes through with this, if it's true and she goes through with it, when she dropped her body and she realized that borderline depression, crippling depression was never me. That borderline personality disorder was never me. It was false identity that I identified with. Oops, too late. You're stuck in hell now. You lived in hell, you died in hell. Because the way you drop your body is the way you're stuck. If you drop your body in heaven, you're in heaven. But you got to have peace on earth, heaven on earth first. Isn't that amazing? And they were like, nothing else I can do for you. Rather than telling this woman, you know what, you need to drop the anger. You need to forgive. You're living in your head. All thoughts are all lies all the time about anything. You're living in your imagination. Go and forgive your mama. Forgive your daddy for not protecting you from your mama. And turn back to the Father. And you'll be fine. You will see that those identities that's in your imagination is not you. But no, nothing else I can do. I counseled with a person, I believe, that said they had gone and gotten all type of psychiatrists and psychologists and tried to get help. And there was nothing they could do. They said that we're done. We got all your money. We're done. We can't help you. And she heard about forgiveness. And she went and forgave. And lo and behold, she's free. Somebody need to tell this 28-year-old Dutch woman, who sounds like she has all the physical material things she wants, that she need to forgive her mama. She's living in darkness, and she calling it her. You're not your thoughts. You're not your feelings. You're not your body. You're not your autism and borderline personality disorder. You're not your crippling depression. But if you think that you are, then you are. So as a man thinketh, so as he is. Hell is right here on earth. I interviewed a young man that's going to be coming up tomorrow on the Father State, and he said that he was afraid of dying or going to hell. I'm like, you're already in hell, buddy. If you're afraid of hell, it's because you're already in hell. Because if you were not afraid of hell, there would be no hell. Smoke on that one. If you were not afraid of hell, there would be no hell because you would not be in hell in you. The hell is in you, in each individual that doesn't overcome. It's a Bible Thought for Thursday. I want to show you one other quick example, and I'm going to get to your calls, of Christianity is becoming even more of a joke and what hell looked like. It's just a small example of what hell looked like. And by the way, anyone that's living in their thoughts and identify with thoughts, you're in hell. Say hi to Satan. and all his little demons. They have turned Christianity into an outright joke. This is from NBC. A trans team joined Chicago today to explain the importance of Transgender Day of Visibility. Watch this from Chicago today.
This Sunday is known as Transgender Day of Visibility. It's a time to celebrate trans and non-binary people and raise awareness of the discrimination faced by the community worldwide.
It's a day to recognize every year how important and how far transgender people have come. And it's just a day to celebrate our voices and who we are. Ever since I was little, as early as 2, I always knew that I was different. I went with it, and over time, I was just expressing myself more femininely than masculine. And it was one morning before 4th grade. I was 9 years old, and I started crying to my parents. I said, "Mom, Dad, I'm not just a boy who likes girly things. I am a girl, and I want you to know that." And they looked at me, and they loved me, and they told me that everything is going to be okay.
Amazing. They are worshiping the devil. They have identified with evil and given it a fancy name called transgender and cover up evil instead of calling it evil. And I guess there's some mothers looking at her, bowing her head, looking stupid. And if that's the father, beta male sitting there just allowing his son because the father's lost, I understand it. And they act as though they're having a real, live, truth conversation while worshiping evil. But I understand, forgive them, Father, they know not what they do. They can't see. Anyone that has anger cannot see. Anger is evil. It used to be called evil, but they changed the names down through the time. They're like, oh, you can't say evil. You can't call another person evil. And then they changed it to, what they said, you can't call it hate. Then they changed it to resent. Oh, you resent. Resentment sounds better, but it's the same spirit. And then, oh, resentment, you going to say you resent your mother? Mama is God. How you going to say you resent mama? Change it to anger. And by the way, Jesus was angry, they say. And now look what you have. Covered up evil. Did you ever imagine that your father and your mother would be sitting there with a boy with a dress on, and the father has a fake smile on his face, and the mother bowing, but inwardly they're miserable? Even at the White House is no longer White House. It's a mess house. Even at the White House, according to Breitbart, the Biden administration decision to honor Transgender Awareness Day on Easter Sunday has caused widespread controversy. Watch this from Fox.
Backlash building over President Biden's proclamation of Easter Sunday as Transgender Day of Visibility. The Empire State Building in New York City will be lit tonight in pink, white, and light blue for the transgender flag, and Christians everywhere are outraged.
Republicans are blasting President Biden over designating his proclamation. Today on Transgender Day of Visibility, I have a simple message to all trans Americans. I see you. You are made in the image of God, and you're worthy of respect and dignity.
As a Christian who celebrates Easter with family, President Biden stands for bringing people together and upholding the dignity and freedoms of every American.
Amazing. And the Christians who pretend to be outraged, they're just pretending, they're playing. They're not outraged. It just feels good to say it. They're not outraged. The Republicans are not outraged. The only person that really care about this issue and want to do something about it would be Donald Trump. Ain't nobody up in the White House care at all. You can mark my word on that. Transgender Awareness Day on Easter Sunday, according to Breitbart. And they're celebrating. They have a hootenanny of a time. but fret not. The great white hope is on the way. Remind me of what's that guy name? He and Tonto. Remember the guy on the white horse? And there was an Indian guy called Tonto.
Oh, yeah, Zorro.
No, not Zorro. What was the guy's name? Oh, yeah, Lone Rangers. The Lone Ranger and Tonto. Help is on the way. And here it is. Breitbart is reporting that in opposition to Biden's Transgender Day of Visibility, Donald Trump declares that the November election will be Christian Visibility Day. Watch this from C-SPAN.
And we are going to save our country. We're going to save our country. And what the hell was Biden thinking when he declared Easter Sunday to be Trans Visibility Day? Such total disrespect to Christians, and November 5th is going to be called something else. You know, it's going to be called Christian Visibility Day, when Christians turn out in numbers that nobody has ever seen before.
All right.
Let's call it Christian Visibility Day, all right?
Amazing. When all God's children get together. What a time, what a time, what a time. When all God's children get together. What a time, what a time, what a time. When all God's children get together. What a time, what a time, what a time. We're gonna have a time. We're gonna have a time. Amazing. We're gonna have a time. November 2022, 2024. We're gonna have a time. We're gonna have a time. Amazing. Get ready. But between now and then, it's gonna be hell to pay. It's gonna be a long, hot summer. A long, hot summer. What a rainy night in L.A. It's been rain. It's like it's raining all over the world. Thank you, God, for the rain. We had enough. And to the white people, since you are in control of everything, you control the climate, you control other people, you keep them poor, you keep them victims. You everything your fault. Why don't I'm asking you all to make it stop raining for California for at least another year or two. All right, stop the rain. White supremacists, stop the rain. Speaking of age, I remember when I was growing up, older people live forever. And I remember them living, the ones I knew, lived forever, like 80, 90, 100, 100, and I think Monsieur or Miss May or Miss Evelyn, one of them was like 110. 110. I want you to check this out. According to USA Today, the world, not America, not California, but according to this report, USA Today, the world's oldest man died on Tuesday. The world's oldest man died on Tuesday, 1 month before his 115th birthday. Watch this from USA Today. We're showing you the picture, according to USA Today, of the world's oldest man. He's not fat or anything. That's how it used to be. People got old, men and women. They got old, but they didn't get fat. Isn't that amazing? I would love to have interviewed him before he died. to see what he's thinking at age 115. And I know one of the reasons, but not the only, is that men are becoming weaker and weaker and weaker. And like the family, when the man is weak, the wife and children fall apart. Likewise, when the man is weak, the world fall apart. God in Christ, Christ in man, man over woman. And my country is truly in decline. It's interesting, too, to see it. This is from KTLA. A woman who was caught on camera violently smashing the windshield of parked cars with bricks. Smashing the windshield of parked cars with bricks in Los Angeles has been arrested. And she black. Watch this. Appears to be black.
A serial brick basher caught on camera, smashing several cars for no apparent reason.
You should feel safe to park your car on a street and not have to worry about a crazy lady with a brick.
You can see the woman get out of a newer model white Volkswagen Tiguan and walk over to Meyer's car and then throw the brick at the windshield. She then picks up her weapon and leaves. On the same day, showing a woman in similar clothes get out of the same vehicle and smash the windshield of what appears to be a Tesla several miles away at Camden and LaGrange in West L.A. The woman again taking the brick with her.
This person needs help.
It seems like she's targeting luxury cars. It doesn't seem like she's doing it to just any car. So I think there is maybe a message that she's trying to send or something.
Isn't that amazing? Now you see why the white folks don't want the blacks in their neighborhood. I rest my case. Look what they do. I don't care what they say. I'm in love with you. Isn't that something? And that spirit that is causing her to do that, because they're not her. She's driven by evil. I don't know if she realizes it or not, but it's not her. But that same spirit that is causing her to smash windows like that for whatever crazy idea she has, it's the same spirit that causes you to have fear, doubt, suicidal thoughts, loneliness, pride, jealousy, envy, strife, revenge, emotions, fake love emotion and fake hate emotions. It's the same spirit. Jealousy. It's the same spirit that caused that woman to do that is dwelling in you. It's the same spirit that caused you to think about the past or the future, which doesn't exist. It's the same spirit that tell you you don't want to die alone, so you go get married just not to die alone, and all you catch is hell that eventually kills you. The same spirit. That was from ABC. And that same spirit causes you to compare yourself to others. It causes you to think you know what you want. It causes you to think that you want to build a life for yourself, a future. It's the same deceiving spirit. It's the same spirit that makes you think racism exists, white supremacists exist, anti-Semitism exists. It's the same spirit. It's the same spirit that caused mothers of men children to do everything in their unlawful power to destroy the man by destroying his children, taking them to court, trying to take the children, keeping them away from their fathers. And the weak men who go to court to fight it, the court may say, okay, you can have visitation right with your own child. And then she fight to make sure that's not easy. That doesn't happen easily. It's the same spirit. And that spirit is no different than this woman that I'm about to show you now. No difference between that woman and this woman. Watch this from X.
Can I do that with freedom? All I care about is freedom.
You're under arrest.
That's fine. I've been there before. I'm not scared. I've been there before. This is hurting my elbows. It's hurting my wrist.
She look like a crazy chicken. Look at that demon.
Why are you talking? I can't breathe. This is George.
Wow. How you like being sitting next to that one on your way to Boston? She looked like a crazy chicken. I never imagined one day I'll be riding on an airplane. I was on that one. And some crazy female would start yelling like that. Or anyone, really. I never imagined that one day on airplanes, people would wear pajamas and come on the plane looking like trash. Airplane flying used to be so classy. And it used to be an honor to be able to fly. Now it's like riding a bus. It's like riding a bus. According to ABC, last Wednesday, police arrested several suspected migrants who they found squatting with guns and drugs in the basement of a Bronx home. Watch this from ABC.
A group of suspected migrants are under arrest this morning after they were discovered squatting in a home where guns and drugs were found. But that's not all. The group, the guns, the drugs were all in the same room as a 7-year-old boy.
Hopping out of their squad cars after they got a call about a man with a gun. When they arrived, they chased 24-year-old Hector de Soso Villata, believed to be from Venezuela, into the basement of this Hull Avenue home. Another man, 22-year-old Javier Alborno, tried to get away with another gun before he was also arrested. Playing on your screen now are 4 of the 8 suspects that were under arrest being walked out one by one from police. When a search warrant was in place, investigators recovered 2 more loaded guns, 3 loaded extended magazines, a box of ammunition, and a bag of ketamine mixed with cocaine. They are being investigated right now, all tied to a string of robberies that investigators are seeing over in Bergen County.
Amazing, huh? That's not in Venezuela. That's in the United States of America. I know somebody maybe walked in on the end of that and they thought, oh, wow, look at those foreigners over in a foreign country. No, that's right here in America. According to Fox, nearly 7.3 million migrants are known to have illegally crossed the borders since Biden took office. 7.3 just since Biden took office, not those that were already here. Fox is reporting that Oakland County Sheriff is sounding the alarm again about the international crime ring targeting high-end homes in the area. Watch this from Fox.
The home's empty, very large upscale homes backed up to areas with little or no observation from neighbors.
Properties that back up to the woods or a golf course where a team of burglars can go undetected. Months ago, the sheriff formed a task force and caught 7 people from Chile who'd been breaking in and getting away with millions, $800,000 in jewelry and cash from one home alone.
The Chilean gangs have been hitting us very hard. Cash, jewelry, very high-end purses, that's pretty much the target. They're super well trained when they get here, highly organized. They look like ninjas. They're all masked up.
Even using a jammer on wireless alarms. The sheriff recommends hardwiring your alarm system and be sure to turn it on. The sheriff also says don't post on social media.
A lot of people post a selfie, on my way to Florida for 2 weeks, and you've just told everybody your house is empty.
Yeah.
All of those arrested had come to the U.S. through a visa waiver program.
Amazing. These people are coming from, these asshole people coming from asshole countries. Remember when the great white hope Donald Trump said something like that? Do you believe him now? Well, CBS is reporting that mail theft complaints have jumped 3 327%. They're stealing mail. 327% since 2018. And a big part of the problem stems from the keys USPS uses for mailbox. They use it for mailbox. Watch this from CBS.
This is them going up to one night in January and actually taking the mail out of the mailboxes. And what they were looking for were checks, they were looking for debit cards, they were looking for lines of credit to get people's information.
Police arrested the alleged mail theft crew after they targeted 2,200 addresses across suburban Chicago last year. Investigators also recovered replicas of postal arrow keys. Each master key opens hundreds of blue collection boxes and cluster mailboxes in a given area. We found countless examples of thieves using them to unlock mailboxes and steal what they want. Another way criminals get those keys, targeting the mail carriers who use them. A camera outside a New Jersey home captured masked attackers robbing this mailman.
They took the arrow key.
Incidents like this quadrupled over a 5-year period. According to one government document, 82% of carrier robberies are motivated by arrow key theft.
Amazing, huh? That's in the United States of America. That's not in Venezuela, Mexico, Cuba, Africa. That's in the United States now. And Joe Biden and his administration is allowing this to happen every day. They're coming in. These people just coming across the border. We heard about the black crime before all this started. Now you got double crime with other colored people. And it's going to get worse. If ever we needed you, Lord, we need you now. It's going to get worse. Because Christians and non-Christians alike have been told that anger is good. And that Jesus was angry. One of the biggest lies ever been told. And it justified them holding on to anger, which is evil. Did you imagine that they will openly attack the mailman while delivering mail like that? Openly doing it. Don't care about the camera being on them or anything. No police. And then if they do get caught, they just go walk in one door of the jail cell and out the door of the jail cell. That's in my country. I have told you, in America, it's a Judeo-Christian country founded by white people, white men. And with the help of God, they created the greatest country on this side of heaven, all in the name of Jesus. And they built some amazing things in this country. And I have said that white people, all they want is just a first-class life. They want you to leave them alone, let them get their education, and let them teach the next generation of their children to get an education, and they just want a first-class life. They want a nice, clean, beautiful home in a nice, clean neighborhood. They want low crime. They want small government. They want to fly on the airplane first class. So they have the Mileage Plus plan. They want their universities to be nice and clean and big, made out of bricks. They want their white children to just be able to go to school, have fun, have a 3.5 grade point average. If that's a high enough average y'all want, 3.5? Oh, a higher. 4.0. 4.0. What the? When I was in school, it was a 1.0. We thought we were doing something with a 1.0. But they just want that. They want their kids to graduate and the girls to get married to a man that got money. And so the woman can stay home and raise the children and go over to the cafe mocha shop during the day, have some breakfast with their girlfriends, and they chat while the little children run around and talk about how cute they are. They don't want to be robbed at the coffee shop. And they want the mailman to show up and deliver the mail, say hi to the kids. They don't want the mailman to be robbed along the way. They want to be able to go down to the corner and drop their mail in the mailbox and not think about someone going after them and breaking open the mailbox. They just want a first-class life. That's all they want. And they want to go down to the corner church on Sundays and sing their quiet hymns. And go home, have lunch, and start all over again. White people just want a first-class life. They don't want you coming into the suburbs and screwing up their lives. And I understand it. That's the way it should be. Here's an example of white people just wanting a first-class life. Watch this from TikTok.
I said this before we bought the castle, and I can say it with a whole lot more authority now. If we wanted a turnkey castle, one that was already done, we could have gotten that for a lot less money than we're spending. But that's not what it was about. We weren't trying to buy a castle and move into a castle. What we each wanted to do was find a castle,
make it come alive.
and make it come alive.
There was a time when I was looking at castles, and I could have probably told you every castle that was out on the market and details about it, but I think we both knew this was a very special place.
There is something about this spot that's peaceful, that's serene, that is just lovely. It's kind of a temple of peace, if you want to call it that way. I mean, it's really an amazing place.
That's all they want. They want to build their castle. They don't want you coming in and building project hoods around it. They don't want you hanging out on the beach smoking pot. They don't want you coming over robbing them. They want to be able to walk down in that wood, those little woods behind them, and feel good about it. But no, the people of color have to go in there and screw it up. And white people just want to have fun. They work hard in school. They work hard in colleges. They work hard on their job. They start businesses. They want to enjoy it. They don't feel like fighting with you. They don't feel like walking down the road and here you are coming up, knocking them out from behind. They just want to have a life. And it used to be that way in this country. They had a life. I remember in California when I moved here in 1968. Yes, there was a 1968. And I walked off the plane at the LAX airport. I saw the palm trees. I'm like, I'm in heaven. I just arrived to heaven. Clean, opportunities everywhere, jobs everywhere. I never imagined it could get to this. And I had planned, if I didn't live in LA, I was going to live in Atlanta, Georgia, because at one time, white people, white people controlled Georgia. And Atlanta, Georgia was amazing. I literally thought I was going to live in Georgia because I grew up in that area down there in Alabama, 2 hours away from Georgia, Atlanta, Georgia. But I moved out here, and I'm like, I'm staying here. I'm staying. And you gonna love me.